A day after the game, they announced that Tua was in protocol, that he was showing symptoms. And a day after that, he's ruled out for this weekend. There is no timetable for return, and there is a joint investigation between the NFL Players Association and the NFL. Here's where I'm at with this, and this is where I need your guys' help. Because, A, I feel like Tua is one hit from his career being over. In today's world, this isn't the 80s or even the 90s where you either didn't talk about concussions, you used terms like bell ringing or you got your bell rung or seeing stars, to then the acknowledgement of a concussion, but the league really didn't care. Players don't care. And then you get to where we know what they are now, which are their brain injuries. This is what they are. It is a brain injury. And when you get in the business of trying to say, all right, well, what do we do? What amount of brain injuries are acceptable? Now, that sounds ridiculous when I say it, and it should. But think about this. Would you create a 3 strikes and you're out, meaning 3 concussions, your career is over? Let me help you. You wouldn't have a lot of guys playing. So what, are 3 concussions acceptable? 5? 7? How many? How many concussions go undiagnosed? And remember, players do not want to be their own advocate. Players don't want to come out of these games. Players don't want to be told they can't play. Players are never going to be a good friend to themselves. So my question is, what the hell is the league going to do here? Because the backdrop to all of it, and this is, it's reality. You don't care. As fans, you don't care. The teams don't care. The league doesn't care. It's the people outside the sphere that care, and the pressures that get put upon them. And the only people that care are the lawyers, because the word liability comes into mind. That if we are found to be blamed, we're liable, and we're going to owe these players billions, right? So the Tua situation, McDaniel comes out today and says, you know, we need to do what's best for him. He's a person. There's no timetable for return, etc. So what happens the next time he gets a concussion? Or the time after that? Like, tell me. Tell me what you think the league should do, because you're kind of in an impossible spot. Your customer base doesn't care. I think up to 90% of fans don't give a damn. They signed up for it. This is the life they chose. CT's their problem. I want to be entertained. I think that's the average NFL fan. The teams don't care because the players are commodities. We need you. And if you're not going to do it, we'll find somebody else who will. And the players are the last line of defense for their own health. A vast majority of players do not care. They want to play. I got 3 years in the league, 5 years in the league, 7. Maybe I'm super blessed and I had a 10-year career. That's 10 years of my life where I'm going to do what I want to do. And you're not telling me I can't play and I can't earn money for my family or can't earn that next contract or can't help us win this game. So if nobody in the process cares, and the only people who care are the lawyers or the people worried that they're going to owe money, what do you do? How do you handle the Tua situation? Because I don't have the answer. I don't. Like, if you're asking me and I run the Miami Dolphins, yeah, the easiest thing to say is I'd shut them down for the rest of the year. I don't even know what that does. Does anyone know exactly how long a concussion takes to heal? I don't. Do we know the rates? Are they the same amongst all people? Does the rate of healing go along with the severity of it? I don't know these things. I don't know anyone does. But my point is, let's say you said you're sitting 2 out and the doctors say he can't play football for a year. Guess what? You're not going to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Then the NFLPA is going to say, well, you can't deny him his right to work. See, we're in a real interesting moment in time, guys, because and I'm not knocking anybody or diminishing anybody. I'm trying to approach this from how I think my audience thinks and talks and feels, etc., right? When an offensive lineman gets a concussion, nobody notices. A corner, a safety, maybe a wideout or a running back, but when a quarterback does, time stops. When the face of a franchise does, time stops. So what are we supposed to do here? Help me understand it. Now, the one constant in this is the Dolphins. This is a mess. Why is it that the Dolphins can't identify the concussion when everyone can timestamp these moments? The hits, we see them happen. They're right there on our TV. We see it. Where's the on-field doctor? And not the one who works for the Dolphins, the concussion specialist for the league. If I see a quarterback get thrown down and his head snaps back and bounces off the grass, that's wheelhouse for an evaluation. That's the part I can't figure out. But we're looking at a young rising star in the league who, frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if tomorrow a statement got released where he goes, look, for my health and for my family's health, I'm stepping away from football. 3 concussions in a year is debilitating. It's devastating long term. I think that much is clear. Then you factor in when you get these injuries, you're more apt to get them again. So what's the solution? Look, I understand that's a complex question. I understand that that's not what's your favorite Christmas present. We have to think a little bit, people. But I'm admitting to you, I'm not the smartest guy in the room on this. I don't know what the answer is. But I can tell you, I don't think you, the fans, care. I think the teams do whatever they do begrudgingly. And maybe there is no answer. Maybe there's not. Like if you put a 5 strikes and you're out rule, well, first of all, you're telling people it's acceptable to have 5 brain injuries. Good luck. But second of all, think about it. How many of these concussions go undiagnosed anyways? So what would we be doing? You mean to tell me you have a quarterback like Josh Allen and he gets his 5th concussion and he's forced to retire? Are you kidding me? There'd be a revolt. So tell me what we do here. Help me understand it. Go ahead, Kenny.
Which is the better thing, having 5 concussions go and the 5-strike rule be in place, or having a bunch of concussions go undiagnosed? There's no winning in this situation.
That's why I'm asking the question.
I don't think there's a good answer.
Well, then maybe it's a terrible topic.
No, it's a good topic. I just don't see how.
But you understand why when I read that comment from McDaniel during the break, it got me thinking, and I'm going, okay, so there's no timetable for his return. What type of certificate do you get? What doctor is going to go on record and say, Tua, you've had 3 concussions in 3 months, but now I'm going to sign my name to this slip, and you're going back? How does that work?
I mean, you run it up the ladder. Tua's not going to take himself out. You said it. Players aren't going to be their own advocate. The teams don't care as much because they need that player. The league pretends to care about concussions.
Because they have to.
Right, but not because they actually care, though. That's why you see Tua getting his head bounced off the turf, and then he's back out there in the second half. I mean, this is what's happened all year long with Tua. 3 potential concussions.
No, I mean...
And he still plays after some of them?
Well, that's my point, is how would the Dolphins bring him back this year?
There's no shot. There's no shot they should. They might, but there's no shot they should.
You're right in what you're saying, but I could absolutely see 2 weeks from now, I could see it.
And you're right about that, too.
And that's the problem, is I don't know what the answer is. So I get it. I know, this is a little more complex, but I think it's worth the discussion because this Tua thing is happening in real time. It's a quarterback. It's a guy who I never bought into the league MVP conversation, but it's a guy who's had an unbelievable season, plays in a major media market. And guys, this is three. I'll never believe them ever on the first one when they said it was his back. I'll never believe them. I'll go to my grave believing that was a concussion. The second one was absolutely a brain injury where his entire body seized up, and I believe he was rushed back.
That was horrifying.
And now we can timestamp the moment it happens and 3 straight interceptions following it into, oops, he's in protocol. Well, that's weird because he finished the game on Christmas Day. How does that work? Or do we just need to say, you know what? It is what it is. I don't know. I don't have the answer.